WLWT TV5, Cincinnati. All tonight's news from the Tri-State's finest news team, Michael Collins and Robin Phillips. Steve Shapiro has sports, and meteorologist Steve Horsemeyer has the SkyTrack 5 weather. Live from Cincinnati, this is Action 5 News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. President Reagan's six-day Asian visit has come to an end tonight. With a white truce flag waving, the president's motorcade wound its way up to one of two American posts at the demilitarized zone. There he prayed with American soldiers stationed at one of the most heavily armed places on this planet. The president spied through binoculars at Pakchani, a fake village built by North Korea to show what life is like on the other side of the DMZ. But President Reagan was not impressed.
Looks like a Hollywood backlot, and isn't any more important.
Secretary of State George Shultz is calling the president's visit an outstanding success. And Ohio Congressman Tom Luken thinks this is a good time for President Reagan to tour South Korea, the country Luken calls the Japan of the future.
I'm not appalled or discouraged by the tone of the president's statements. I think they're appropriate, particularly in that situation, with our interests being what they are there.
Luken says it's hard to be in a country like South Korea and not have strong anti-communist feelings. But President Reagan's trip to Asia failed to produce any major breakthrough on sensitive issues, including trade disputes with Japan and human rights problems in South Korea.
Back in Washington tonight, Robin, a warning has been issued to Syria. Recently, U.S. jets flying reconnaissance missions over Lebanon have been fired at by Syrian gunners. Robert McFarland, National Security Advisor, says if it happens again, the U.S. will respond. Lebanese President Jamal has abruptly canceled a peacemaking trip to Syria scheduled for tomorrow. This after being told that Syrian President Assad has taken ill and has been hospitalized. There's no word on the nature of that illness. Meanwhile, Syrian-backed Palestinian rebels continued to shell Yasser Arafat's last stronghold today and rejected Arafat's conditions for leaving northern Lebanon as being nothing more than a gimmick to buy time. That time seems to be running out for a peaceful settlement tonight. Syrian gunners again shelled the oil refinery north of the city. Guerrillas loyal to Arafat returned the fire. And returning from a tour of the front lines, Arafat said his followers were in danger of being massacred if he leaves. He wants an Arab observer force stationed there to protect his people.
I am here, as I have mentioned, because it is my duty to be beside my people and our troops when they are facing danger and are facing aggression. So as soon as everything returns back to its usual and original case, I return back directly.
Arafat says if his conditions are met, he will then return to the PLO headquarters in Tripoli.
The fighting is over for the time being in Grenada tonight. Thousands of people on that Caribbean island filled churches today, giving thanks to the U.S.-led invasion that ousted the Soviets and Cubans. Meanwhile, in Cuba, Fidel Castro has declared a three-day mourning period for the 37 Cubans killed in the fighting. Well, the mourning continues tonight in Cincinnati for longtime school board member Mary Schloss. Funeral services for Mrs. Schloss were held today in North Avondale. Friends and colleagues remembered her devotion to the children.
I don't think anybody will ever appreciate the contributions she has made to the Cincinnati school system. She's always in the background, but she was as solid as the Rock of Gibraltar.
Mrs. Schloss served on the school board for 13 years. She became the first woman president in 1973, served in that capacity again in 1979, and chaired the board's finance committee for 4 years. Mrs. Schloss also served as staff lawyer for the National Labor Relations Board. Coming up on Action 5 News tonight, striking bus drivers don't want to lead a dog's life.
And shoppers flock to beat the crowd to find something that's a winner, and turkeys flock to get away, unless they're taken home for dinner. That story in a moment.